So, guys? How's everybody out doing tonight? Just wanted to do a quick update on the project that I'm working on. It started out where I just wanted to do a virtual tour of the cemetery to build my portfolio and prove that I can take on a project such as this to uh, get some clout and some notoriety under my belt. But I've also been passionate about cemeteries in general. Cemeteries are full of history, and what we had, me and my wife had decided a long time ago. We actually had set a project up, but it never came to fruition. We never completed it, or we never took on a project, um, especially of this magnitude. But a while back, we decided we had wanted to uh, map out cemeteries. I have a mapping background. My previous job before I left to go to the oil field, and I worked there for 9 years in the oil field. So it's been a quite a while since I've done this, but I've never really gotten out of it. I've kind of kept up with AutoCAD, CAD in general. I still do stuff on the side, just to keep my chops up because I always figured I would use this again at some point, and I didn't want to lose my luster. Um, but I used to map pipeline routes for major oil field companies at a previous employer. Um, and I learned a lot about georeferencing and uh, drawing in real world coordinates. And we also learn how to interact with Google Earth and other GIS or geographical information systems programs. Um, AutoCAD map, uh, ArcGIS. I've messed with some open source GIS software, um, but needless to say, I know how to do it. And we wanted to apply that knowledge to mapping of cemeteries. Cemeteries have, like I said, a lot of history, and there is a big need for mapping these things out because there's going to be a time where these, especially here in the South, in Houma in the Terrebonne area, um, one day with coastal erosion, which whether you think it's real or not, it's happening, and it's projected and it's been threatened for years that within 50 years, Terrebonne Parish could be underwater. Um, it's a danger they're trying to fix, but you know how things go. There's never enough funding to, to to do what we need to do. So we wanted to take on um, mapping cemeteries to preserve history. We think cemeteries have some of the coolest architecture. Um, if you ever been to Metairie Cemetery, and if you haven't been, I implore you to go. It's a great tour. There's a lot of great architecture out there, needless to say, cemeteries are very important to our genealogical history. And what I'm doing here is I still intend to do the virtual tour that I'm working on. That's just going to be part of this project. This project here is going to also involve mapping the cemetery out and making it interactive as far as like getting information. Um, People could click on a grave and find out who's buried there. They could visit they could visit the grave site virtually without ever having to leave the house. That's my goal with this project. Um, I am doing all this on my own dime. I'm doing this on my own time, and it's going to take a little while to do it. Uh, I'm trying to help. I'm trying to with this right here with this digitizing is serving two purposes. What I'm doing is taking an old map that was given to me by a nice lady that is in charge of the Houma diocese cemeteries, and I took it and I georeferenced it. Well, I matched it up with a georeferenced aerial imagery that I got from Google Earth. Um, so watch. If you go send it back. All right. So as you can see from the actual map that was given, the old drawn out map, some of the stuff doesn't match up, and that's what happens with when you try to take a map that may not have been drawn to scale and try to scale it to something. But you can see it's pretty accurate. It's pretty on point. But what I have to do after I trace or actually digitize all of the drawn out map, let's see, when I trace the drawn out map, um, I have to compare it to the aerial photography to kind of get a uh, I don't know, the best of both worlds, I guess you can say, because I have to. My intention is to take these digitized figures that I'm doing, these polygons, and putting them into Google Earth for people to go and click on it, um, and get an interactive experience as far as like getting information. Like I could go in there and I could click on a grave and in Google Earth, and it'll pop out information on that particular grave. I mean, it's the same concept as if you were using Google Earth Street View, in a sense, as far as like one, the interactive tour, and two, um, the clicking on the polygons to get the information. Now, this is a huge undertaking. As you can see, this place takes up almost a whole block. Um, you got Greenwich Street on this side, and you've got Russell Street on this side, I believe, or is it? I can't remember right off the top of my head, but that's relevant. Um, and my intention is like I said to map this out as well as do the virtual tour. So I got a little work ahead of me. I'm limited to 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening to get the best kind of light, because or the most consistent light to take photography. Um, so that's a limiting factor. Also have to do research, which right now COVID is a problem because I can't go into the cemetery office and actually pull records of the people that were buried there, or get any kind of information I need in order to make uh, this particular project. Um, but however, uh, that's on me, and I think this is a fun little project to do to get your mind off of one, being unemployed, and two, just to build a portfolio for something potentially in the future. Um, but for right now, it's just a fun, interesting project for me to undertake, and I want to take y'all for the ride. I want y'all to see what I'm doing, and I I want y'all to enjoy the experience. I want y'all to see what goes into something like this. But anyway, just wanted to give an update, and I will give more updates as things come along. If y'all have any information that y'all want to send me, like if you have a grandparent or you have family members buried in the cemetery, send me some history. Tell me where they're buried. Tell me their names. Give me a story, something. I would like to include that in this particular interactive experience. Um, it's history, needs to be preserved for you know our children to see this kind of stuff, because one day this may not be here anymore. Graves are in there crumbling right now because they are not haven't been taken care of in years. Um, you have many different like the way they buried set up graves. You could see the old section, which this is right here. It's probably the first section of the cemetery that was ever done. You could see little graves, which that's babies or children, small children. Um, you could tell the history. You could see if you would take a walk in a cemetery, you could see the story of a particular area, the parishioners of a church, the members of that church who were prominent members that built this parish, the events that happened where many people died, pandemics, which what are we going through right now? This is a snapshot of history that is being just let go, and nobody is taking the time to do this kind of stuff. And I want to kind of start and roll the ball on this. So it's just a quick update. I hope that y'all stay interested, and if y'all have any questions, send them my way. Y'all have a good night, and I will talk to y'all later.